Hello, hello, hello. According to my technology, it tells me I've gone live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a very sunny and a very hot UK, and specifically a very hot London, which you wouldn't be able to tell given that I'm actually wearing a jacket. I've been recording some videos and doing lots of things today, but I wanted to share with you, as I promised last week as well. Now, my name's Jenny Kovacs, as you can see down there. I'm a visibility queen. And what does that mean? That means that I help you to be seen and to be heard by the people that you need to be seen and heard by in a confident, articulate way. And I specifically work with people who are high on integrity and high on value. So this week, I thought I would share a video or a live stream around a question that I practically get asked every time I speak, anytime I teach, anytime I provide trainings, anytime I speak to my groups or other people's groups. This question comes up in so many different ways. But first off, before I tell you what the question is, you'll know that it's worth continuing to watch this video, or at least come back to it if you're in the middle of something. If you are a business owner, whether you're a one-man band business owner, a founder, a self-employed CEO, if you are part of a team that supports that business owner, that founder, that CEO, then this is a really great video for you to tap into too. And especially if you are responsible for managing both the service and the sales within your own company, then you're going to find some tidbits in here too. And I've also got another person in mind. And who is this person? Who are these people? These are people who are out there doing some really great stuff in the world. These are people like your nonprofits. These are people like your charities. These are people who are in some way trying to make the world a better place. Now, I know that sounds very kind of out there and everything else, but the reason that I share that with you is because so many people that I come across are trying to be a force for good in the world and looking for more ways to be visible, and are kind of saying to me that it feels too complicated, it feels too technical, it feels too contrived. They don't like all of the hacks and the twists and turns. They don't like having to learn language patterns to manipulate people. So if you are looking for tips, hacks, and manipulations that trick people, then you might as well stop watching now, because I don't teach that. Fair play. But for those of you who are looking to put yourself or your company or your work or your business out there even more than it already is in the world, you're going to love this. So what is this I'm talking about? This week, I'm talking about increasing engagement. Increasing engagement, because so many people ask me a question that goes something like, how do I increase engagement when I'm speaking? How do I increase engagement on my YouTube channel, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, on my social media posts, when I'm online, when I'm with my team, when I am, speaking? I might have said that already. They always ask me this specific question. So I thought, as a frequently asked question, I would share the answers, because there's more than one, to this question. So I have one thing to ask you. On this video, I'm not going to be selling anything. I'm not going to be sharing, for you to jump into any of my programs or anything else like that. I'm not going to be asking you to work with me and coach with me one-to-one. I'm not going to be asking you to let me consult for your business, although I do all of those things. The one ask that I have is that you look at the description on here and click on the link and go over to my YouTube channel, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. As it gets hot and sweaty in London, I will be taking a few weeks offline. So the only place that I will be communicating with you will be on YouTube and on Clubhouse. So two of the places that I really love communicating. So over that time, over the summer, whilst you're either working your fingers to the bone, as some of you I know will be doing, or for the rest of you who are like chilling out, taking time off, spending time with family, maybe it's the school holidays, going abroad finally after all of this time, you'll still be able to get hold of me quite easily and be able to still have visibility tips that will help you to raise your professional profile, put yourself out there and be more confident. So here's a few things that I prepared earlier about increasing engagement. And here's what I want you to know. As a visibility specialist, I specialize in being visible, in you being seen, in you raising your professional profile, in you putting your work or yourself sometimes out there. This also means that if you are trusting me or have trusted me with your staff, I will do the best job to make you look like a rock star, and also to make sure that your team are putting themselves out there in a way that feels like with integrity and is ethical. And because of that, the methods that I use are very different to how you may have been taught how to do something before. The reason for this is that they're far-ranging and they stand the test of times. I was talking to a friend earlier and I was saying that, like, literally on a weekly basis, I hear back from somebody that I might not have worked with for like 5 years or longer, who tells me, oh, I remember when you shared this or taught me that. I remember doing it and thinking, what's next? What's next? And then X amount of years later, I've just used what you've taught me to secure. It could be a meeting, a contract, a client, to leap in another area of their business. So these things stand the test of time. So here are a few things I'm going to share. It'll be about 20 minutes. Feel free to listen back. And if you are watching, let me know that you're watching. If you've got questions while I'm live, please, please, please ask your questions. And as always, if I know of you and your work, I will always shout you out. So I see Steph has just popped on to say hi. Hi, Steph. She says, hey, Jenny, ladies and gents, listening to Jenny is absolutely amazing. She's really refreshing to hear a different take on the subject. Oh, thank you, Steph. I feel like I should have put that up on the screen. So let me return the favor to Steph. So Steph is really, really great with your branding. And she stops people from thinking that it's just about how a website looks. There's so much more to that. She really digs deep into what you do. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on the replay and you see Steph comment, go check her out. She's absolutely amazing. So I'm so honored to get that comment from you, Steph, as well, because I know that the work that you do is amazing. The changes that you make is amazing. And Steph is a typical example of what I was saying a few minutes back about people who are a force for good and doing great things into the world. And I know that Steph already is doing fantastic things and has an even bigger vision for her company and her business and where she's going to take it. And these are the sorts of people like Steph, people like you, that I love sharing these sorts of things with. So, by the way, I know that some of you are based in the UK that are watching and some of you are based overseas. So let me know, where in the world are you watching from? And if you're having a late lunch like I just did, then I'm nosy by nature. Let me know what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're doing to cool down or warm up or anything else like that. So a few things, and I think about this. Last week I was sharing with a mastermind group on visibility, of course, and this question came up there. Before that I was interviewed on a podcast. I'm not even sure when that goes live, but that question gets asked there. I was even speaking with the Chamber of Commerce, the British Chamber of Commerce, at their global annual conference a couple of weeks back, end of June. And people always come up to me and ask me this question too. It gets asked everywhere. And interestingly, I've recently been working with a client and their team. And even within the team, they're asking me this question about engagement. So let's break this down into lots of different ways that will help you. So first of all, identify kind of where you are on this. So the first question I ask now, if you're thinking about social media specifically, because a lot of business owners ask me this, how can I get more engagement on social media? I'm going to start by answering that question with asking you a question. My question is, how engaged are you? Now, I know this seems like, come on, Jenny, give me the tips. What has this got to do with anything? I've often found that the people who are most afraid of a lack of engagement might not be so engaging themselves. And I don't mean engaging as an interest in. So, for example, I remember having this conversation with a client where we were talking about engagement and having people react or respond to their posts. And I said, kind of, what kind of responses are you looking for? How would you know that you've got it that would make you feel really happy that you've got the responses that you're looking out for? And they answered that. And I said, so how do you engage on other people's posts? Oh, they said, I don't. I just open social media platform, run in there, post what I need to post, and run out again. So I asked them to imagine that because they were running in there, posting their content and running out again, I asked them to imagine that the people who they wanted engagement from were doing the same thing. Which again, I know seems a bit like, well, what's that got to do with anything? What are you talking about? That just makes no sense. But it's really super, super important. I know of people with really high profiles who will still personally, not even their team sometimes, they will still personally respond to messages. I myself know that I will set time into my day just to go and find out what people are doing. So I know that this is also streaming on LinkedIn. So we're on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. One of the things I do a lot on LinkedIn, it's not a tactic, it's not a piece that I put in place, is I will frequently, on a regular basis, connect with people. And one of the other things that I do, which has got this engagement piece kind of wrapped up, is I will be interested in other people. I'll be interested in their content. I'll be interested in what they share. I'll be interested in the comments. I'll be interested in the other people that draw them to them. So, you know, I've got a couple of people that, God love them, on LinkedIn. Every time I post something, they're there, they react to it, they comment. I've got people who do that over on Instagram and people that do it over on Facebook as well, that, you know, consistently support me. So when I see that the same crowd of people crowd around their content, I kind of want to be in that community. So when you are posting specifically stuff on social media, and I'm speaking a lot to you business owners who are probably wearing lots of hats and doing this yourself, are you creating connection? When I talk about visibility, I talk about three things: your ability to acknowledge that the people that you work with or you help or you offer a service to understand that you understand what they need. It's not just about them understanding what you do, but understanding what they need. So this brings me on to my next piece, which is still to do with connection. So if you're a founder, for example, a business owner, even like speakers and authors, this would be really relevant to you. People often talk about ideal clients or target audiences, and they kind of do it as a throwaway 5-minute thing. I think Steph will agree how dangerous it can be to think that you've sat down, wrote down a few descriptions of your perceived ideal client for 5 minutes, and then on you crack. Because somewhere down the line, it could be weeks, it could be months, you might be lucky enough that it could be years, you'll find out that there's a mismatch. So part of really creating connection and increasing engagement, and this is a sort of engagement that has people reach back out to you. At this point, I want to bust a common myth. There is a myth that your whatever you post online only does well if a gazillion trillion people like it, share it, watch it, comment on it, or anything else. And strictly speaking, that's not true. It depends on what you're going for. If you're going for, I want everybody to see how popular I am and I want my post to go viral, then obviously that's going to be an important thing for you. But actually, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is knowing who the people that you work with best, like where they are, where they're what they're looking for, where they're hanging out, so that you can interact with them and connect with even the people that haven't met you yet or don't know you yet. This is so important. It's so important. It's important because when you know where your people are, it helps you to think more strategically, but also think more almost sensibly in terms of engagement and connection with your audience, because now you're really thinking about what it is they need, what it is they need to hear from you, what it is they're looking for from you, and you can share it. It also busts the myth that you might have to post a gazillion times a day to be able to be quote unquote effective. You know, one of the ways that I love to connect with people is, I'm all over social media, I'm online, but one of the ways I love to connect with people is in person. I love to connect with people when I'm speaking. I love to connect with people when I'm networking. I love to connect with people online networking too. So I have already honed down into what I love to do, what I'm most effective at, and the best ways that I can connect with people. For me, it's a faster route of connection and something that we both get something out of it. And in some instances, especially on in-person networking, they get something out of it, I get something out of it, and the Chamber of Commerce, for example, will get something out of it. I'm trying to think of some other networks. I'm going to give a shout out to the AWTE, which is the Association of Women Travel Executives, a phenomenal group of powerhouse women who are doing such great things and striving to do even greater things in the world. So they will get something out of it, and so will their members who meet each other. It needs to be a win-win-win. So I was able to identify that because I was looking at, well, what is my best medium? Like, what is the thing that I'm best at? Sorry, at that point, I realized that something's pinged, even though all my phones are on silent, but never mind. The show must go on. What is your best medium? So if you are a great writer, you can really get everything down in writing, then consider written posts, consider your book, consider blogs, consider guest posting, consider media posting, just less than an hour before, less than an hour ago, in fact, I was online on Twitter and I saw a request for something there, which would be really great as a written piece. It wouldn't translate maybe the same on video. So get to know what your best medium is. And at this moment, I'm going to take a breath and a sip of pineapple juice because it is summer and it is warm. And I'm going to get you just to grab a pen and scribble down. And if you're watching this on the replay, then just pause it, scribble down what your best mediums are. Are you better at speaking? Are you better at live streaming and video? Are you better like at live speaking, that is? Do you feel like your best medium is writing stuff down? Do you feel like your best medium is on one-to-one situations? In group situations, do you feel better as the speaker, as the leader, as the teacher, as the person who listens? Are you a mic drop person who sits in a room full of people at a meeting, listens to everyone's opinions, and then drops the mic and gives a really great one-liner that everybody can take something away from? The thing is, all of the things that I've mentioned, they're all great and they all work. But what might work best for me might not work best for you. So you'll know that I created the Visibility Activator System, which is the five key pillars to being visible. And out of those pillars, sometimes my clients go even deeper in each pillar. Some of them skip a couple of pillars. They're quite okay with that for the moment, but they want to go deeper. So, for example, working with a team at the moment where we're digging deeper into their sales, whereas someone else, I'm digging deeper into actual visibility itself. How do you plan for it? How do you strategize for it? And how do you, and this is my zone of genius, actually implement it? How do you know what to implement and how do you actually implement it? So those pillars are really great guides. It's like a system. It's like a place to focus, a step by step to guide you through. But you need to do what works best for you. Because if I showed up here and I hated doing video, I might have masked the fact that, oh, I don't like doing it, but there'll be something about my energy when I'm trying to read my teleprompter and trying to convey information that just won't connect with my audience. I do this because I love doing this. I do this because I want you to love doing it too. I do it because I know that when you are marketing your business, selling your services, putting yourself out there, and raising your profile, that it can be scary and nerve-wracking, and that sometimes you feel like you're spinning plates and you don't feel like you can do all of it. I'm the one that's going to tell you, don't do all of it. Just pick one thing and go for it. So really look at your best medium. For some of my clients, they've experienced that this can change from time to time. So they could start off being really great speaker, and then kind of morphed into being a great writer. They've written a book and now they're speaking about the book, but they don't like doing video or don't like live streams and webinars. They don't like educating, but they prefer to lead. So really tap into that. So just to recap, when you're looking to increase that engagement, look at how engaged you are with other people's stuff. Do you cut and run? That might not help. Do they so I'm getting more and more messages pinging through to my phone. Are you in front of the people that you love working with? So for example, if your clients, your ideal clients, your ideal audience were pub goers that like to drink in the pub, what on earth are you doing walking around the park handing out flyers? What on earth are you doing walking around, networking events or conferences trying to persuade people of how great you are? You'd literally go to the pub, sit amongst them and chat to them, find out about their day, have a natural conversation, which will naturally lead to how you can help them, how your services or products can help them. It's no different to that. So I want to leave you with a couple of things to think about. When you're looking at increasing engagement, and there's one area of this that I haven't covered on this topic, if you would like me to cover it on a future topic, please comment in the comments below, even if you're watching back on the replay, and let me know. And I get asked this a lot, but I'm not sure whether it's something that's of interest to you or not that you'd like me to share. I speak between, on average, between 2 to 4 times a month, which means sometimes it's even more than 4 times and sometimes slightly less than 3. That is a way that I know I get great engagement. Now, I'm a visibility specialist. You'll see that I don't have a gazillion trillion followers. I have a fairly big reach across social media, but I don't necessarily have a gazillion people on each piece. Now, I share that with you because that's important to know when you are looking at increased engagement. One of my markers of success with that engagement is that I very often get approached and get asked to speak. I think in the last 18 months, I've had 2 conversations where I've connected with the host where we weren't a good fit. And that's just 2 in like 18 months, probably 2 years now. Okay. So if you are looking for, well, how do I increase my speaking engagements or invitations? I call that opportunity optimizing. I do have a freebie on that. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll put it on my YouTube channel in the comments there. But if that's something you want me to speak more about, then let me know, because I can be out networking in the supermarket, in a client office, even recently at a wedding, and people will say, how do you get all these speaking gigs? This is something that I work with people on because it's more than just the speaking gigs. But if you wanted to get started on doing that, then definitely ask me about my opportunity optimizer. I'll send you the link, you pop in your email address, and then you get not only the PDF of that, but you actually get a little video that talks you through how best to use it. Because again, you've got different ways to be ready to do that. So here's what being visible and increasing your engagement is not about. And I know that there are some people that teach this, but as I said, I do visibility differently. I've been doing visibility differently for 12 years. So it's not about being forceful. It's not about being pushy, and it's not about sending forceful or pushy messages. You'll know that they're forceful and pushy because you'll find yourself, before you've even typed the message, saying, I'm sorry if this is, I'm sorry if this feels like the like I'm being a bit pushy, or I'm sorry if this message appears intrusive. Whenever you find yourself like preempting a message with apologizing, then that's when it's too pushy for you. Okay. It's not about adding people to your list without permission. It's not about doing anything that's not permission based to people, because people are bored of it and they don't like it. And ironically, it's the reason that so many people come to me, because they're being taught to do something that doesn't feel good to them, and they want to be able to be authentic, they want to be in integrity, and they want to put themselves out there and reach even more of their people. It's also not about clever words or hacks or manipulation. You see, the thing with that is, whenever you start something with clever wording and clever hacks and manipulative language, people don't only spot it a mile off, they smell it 20 miles off, and they won't come near you and won't recommend you and what you do. Because when you coerce somebody and twist their arm and force it behind their back, at some point it needs to come out again. So it's about creating the right types of connection for your types of people. And, each audience is different. It's about really engaging them in a way that they understand that you understand them. And I'm going to end this by sharing a story of something that really warmed my heart from like quite a few years ago. And on this story, this is about Twitter. And I know that Twitter sometimes gets a bad reputation, but there's some beautiful connections that can be made on Twitter. So many years ago, I saw Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics. He was on Twitter and he'd posted that he was working on a song. He sat there, there's a picture of him playing, or I don't know if he was playing his guitar, but he was at least posing on the guitar. And in the background, there was a mirror. And in the mirror, I saw the hair of a brunette. Didn't see the face. So I said, this song looks, I tweeted like, great song. Who's the brunette? Or something like that. That was in the days when it was 140 characters or less. And to my kind of shock and surprise, he responded, not days later, not weeks later, but he responded pretty much immediately and kind of like made a joke about it. And I thought it was really, really cool that he took the time to engage. Now, to your audience, to the people who follow you, your work, your company, your business, your strategies, or anything else that you share, the journey of your book or anything else, to them, you're their Dave Stewart. They'll pluck up the courage sometimes to comment, and they'll want to hear back from you. Don't leave them hanging. Don't ever feel like your company or your business or your brand is too big to not connect with people. It's so important to know. So that's my Dave Stewart story. I hope this has been helpful. And as I say, if you're watching back on the replay, still feel free to type any comments below. And what I will do now is spend the next few minutes whizzing around the different places that this is streaming and make sure that I acknowledge each and every one of your comments and everything that you've shared. So remember, if you haven't already, please go over to my YouTube channel and do go over. In fact, let me see if I can post a comment. There it is. Do go over to my YouTube channel. Do remember to subscribe, where I'll be sharing even more ways that you can be seen and you can be heard and you can be even more visible to more of the people, more of the time that you would like to. And if you've got a topic that you would like to cover, let me know. I'm off to rest my voice for 15 minutes before I jump over on Clubhouse and do a live Q&A, a live Ask Jenny over there. So I'd love to see you in there or hear you on there. And thank you so much for watching. And remember, if there's somebody that you know who's a business owner, a team member, an author or a speaker, or even a non-profit, do share this video with them. I'd love them to get access to this information too. Bye for now.